What's up everyone, Vitaly here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a beginner tutorial on Pinterest SEO. You're going to be following along with how to create highly optimized pins that can potentially get you a lot of clicks and traffic to your website. These are the 5 steps that you're going to be following along with, and this is the pin that utilizes these 5 steps. It's going to be an example pin. It's how I make my Pinterest pins and get the results that I do. So before I jump into all of that, I want to give you some context real quick. First of all, Pinterest SEO essentially involves creating pins on popular subjects that people look for in Pinterest, getting highly ranked for those pins so you can get a lot of clicks to those pins and ultimately outbound clicks to your website from them. That's the ultimate goal, because the more traffic you get from Pinterest to your website, the more money you can make on the back end, which is on your website. You can do affiliate marketing, you can run ads on the site, which is what I do in my case. You can sell some services or whatever the case is. The point is you want to get as much traffic as possible from Pinterest, and optimizing your pins with the proper SEO tactics is what leads to that. So I'm going to be showing you 2 ways to do that. One is a free way, one is a paid way, which I prefer way more because it's way faster and which is way more convenient, and I'll explain why, but you'll have options basically. So the first thing I want to show you is some of my stats in Pinterest. This is something that is rising. In the last 60 days, I've gotten over 8,000 outbound clicks. There is some drop over here because the niche that my Pinterest account is involved in is nature travel. And most of the subjects that I talk about are not very popular in the winter. So this is something that's going to pick up in the next month or next 2 months or so forth. It just gets more popular in the spring, summer, and fall seasons. And the most important metric that you're going to want to look at in my particular case is the outbound clicks. Outbound clicks are the most important way to judge whether or not your Pinterest campaigns are successful, because they basically say how many people click from Pinterest to visit your website. And so this number right here is extremely high. It's up 76%, even though that we're still like in a low point with the subjects that I'm trying to create pins for. So this is a huge metric of success. And ultimately, that's what you're going to want to do as well. But this is the pin that I'm going to be using as an example, and these are the 5 steps. So you're going to want to follow along with that. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, but let's jump right into it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a popular keyword in your niche. So in my particular case, the niche that I have my Pinterest account on is outdoor travel, nature, national parks, all of that kind of encapsulated. And so what you're going to want to do in your case is head over to Pinterest itself, click on the Explore, and type in a keyword into the search that actually is related to your niche. Now in my case, I'm going to type in a national park that's popular, like Zion National Park. And I know it's popular because I just see a lot of pins for it. But before you actually see the pins, what you're going to want to look at is these results that pop up. If you see a lot of these things appear, that usually says that the pin or the subject matter of the pin is popular. So, you know, even if you just click on this, it'll show you a lot of pins for Zion National Park. And so your goal with the pins that you create is to appear as high as possible for popular keyword searches like these, but there are other ones as well. So that's the first thing. In your case, if it's gardening, you're going to want to type in something like gardening and then see what other things pop up. Like gardening for beginners is probably a good keyword that I would create pins for if you were in the gardening niche. That's what I would recommend. But we're going to stick to Zion National Park for the sake of this experiment, not experiment, but rather tutorial. The one that I actually like is hikes, even though it's at the bottom, but it is winter right now, so the visits to Zion National Park are not as high as they are after spring and summer. That's when it picks up, but that's the one I like, and I'll show you how I did that. So that's the first step. The second step is you want to make what's known as a TOBI pin that has that keyword in the actual pin. So TOBI stands for text over background image. And what that means is any pins that you see here that have any numbers or letters on them, like these ones, this one, this is not a TOBI pin because it doesn't have any of them, but these are because they do. When you have a TOBI pin, you have much more chances of capturing people's attention, so they click on the pin and then visit your website. That's why you want to make TOBI pins. I have an entire tutorial about that. But after you do that, after you make a TOBI pin, the way you do that is you have to actually make it. And the way that I do that is in a place called Canva, which is a site where you can do it for free. This is the actual pin that I'm uploading here, and it's actually very easy to make. I have another tutorial on how I do that. I don't want to make this video too long, but essentially what we're looking to do here is, since the keyword we're looking to chase is Zion National Park hikes, we're making a pin that actually says Zion National Park hikes in the pin somewhere, and here it is. That is super duper important. This is part of the SEO process. So you make that pin and then you upload it to Pinterest, which is what I did over here. I clicked on create pin, organic, create pin, and that's what led me to this page, and this is the pin itself. Next is you want to optimize the pin, and this is where a huge chunk of the SEO process comes into the picture. The first thing to know is that you're going to want to put the actual keyword Zion National Park hikes not just in the pin itself, but in the title of the pin, which is what I have over here. Next, you're going to want to have to put that in the actual description at least once. Then you have the option, this is something that I do recommend you do, which is putting what are known as annotated interest. And this is a bit more nuanced, but basically the thing to understand is annotated interests are just basically how Pinterest ranks people's pins under what kinds of keyword terms. So if I type in Zion National Park and I click on hikes and I get all of these pins, let's say I click on this one, and I'm not logged into this one, I do it in a different place, you can't actually see the pins, or you can't see the actual annotated pins, but you can actually do that with the second method. And basically what you do is it's kind of a way of just telling Pinterest, hey, I want this pin to rank for all of these terms. So I have an actual description that's organic, and then I have these actual keywords which are very popular annotated interest or keyword searches that people type up in relation to Zion National Park hikes. This is huge, and I'll explain in a moment how that works. Now, if you don't have the tool that I'm going to be sharing with you, you can't do this. But if you do have the tool, it makes this easier, and it gives your pin a lot more exposure. And I'll explain how that works. It's basically through a tool called pin clicks, but we'll talk about that later. Next, you're going to want to actually provide a link to a page that actually talks about what it is that you're talking about. So the pin, in this case, actually opens up a page on my website that also says Zion National Park hikes. Notice how I'm consistent with it, whether it be the title in the pin, the keyword in the pin, the title of the pin also has the keyword, the description, the URL goes to a page that has this in the title, talks about the subject matter. I also have a board that's called Zion National Park hikes. Here is where I type in tag topics. It's kind of like, what it's related to. I'm going to type in Zion National Park. Now, it's not going to say Zion National Park hikes. That's just not a tag topic, but I do know that hiking trails is a tag topic. So I don't do more than 2 or 3. So Zion National Park and hiking trail is more than enough in this case. So this pin is optimized right now. And I'll click publish in a moment, but I want to go back just for a moment to these annotated keywords that you have here. So you notice it says Zion National Park, Utah, comma, hiking in Narrows, Angels Landing, comma, Zion National Park hikes, hikes in Zion National Park, Zion hikes. These are all annotated keywords. And the way that I found them was I used a keyword tool called pin clicks. Now, this is a tool that you can actually use for free for 5 days. I'll leave a link below this video for it. But essentially what this tool does is really a lot of things to make the process easier. So for starters, it'll give you the same results that I did when I typed in Zion National Park, for example. So notice how I put Zion National Park in here and I get all of these terms. But here's the thing. I don't know how many people look for these terms, and that way it's kind of like I'm sort of like shooting in the dark over here. It is basically a hierarchical. In other words, this is more popular than this. It goes from top to bottom when it comes to keyword popularity, but I don't know what that keyword number is. Pin clicks, however, does tell me that. So if I go into pin clicks and I type in Zion National Park in the keyword explorer, these results are basically the same exact results that you see here. So it starts off with photography, then it's outfit, then it's with kids. Notice that Zion National Park, this is a different one, photography, outfit, with kids, same exact thing as it is here, but look at the difference. See how it says volume? Now I actually know how popular these keywords are, and that way I can make a more educated guess as to which actual keywords I want to target in the first place, because a lot of them get a few hundred or maybe even less than that. I don't want to waste my time trying to create pins that get low search volume. I want to go for the big dogs over here. So the reason I chose hikes, actually, even though it only has 415, is because it's now in the winter season, and this is going to pick up into the thousands in the spring and summer, so that's why I decided to do it. But the point being is, through pin clicks, you can actually make more educated, well, it'll literally tell you which keywords are popular, then you make pins on those popular keywords so you can potentially rank for them, get more exposure, get more outbound clicks, and more traffic to your website. That's why I use pin clicks. On top of that, there are other things. I'll leave a review at the bottom of this video as well, so you can get more nuance, more context as to why I love this tool. But another thing that this thing does is it gives you annotated interest. So over here where it says Zion National Park, this and that, what I can do is I can go to where it says see top pins. And this will open up another window in pin clicks, by the way, where it has different pins that are very popular. I will organize this in terms of low to high, so I'll click this once, so it'll be from top to bottom. And then what I'll do is I'll look at the top one over here, and then see where it says annotated interest. This is how I gathered these keywords that you saw in this area right here. These annotated interests are a game changer when it comes to basically getting more exposure with your Pinterest pins, because these keywords, among others, I will add into my pin that I'm creating, obviously the ones that are most relevant, and that will basically get my pin more exposure. So I'm getting more from using pin clicks with my pins. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark. Pin clicks is the only program that I know that tells you this stuff. Pinterest used to do it itself, but it's just not doing that anymore. So if I just go to photography, usually if you clicked on these things over here, it would give you annotated interest here, but it doesn't do that anymore. Pin clicks, however, will tell you that. So it's sort of like a cheat code for getting more exposure with your SEO. So basically, that's how that works. So I know it's a bit long-winded as to how I did this, but this is super duper huge when it comes to getting more success with Pinterest SEO. That's why I'm spending so much time telling you about it. But basically, once that's done, I publish it. That's how it works. Now, I know that this explanation was a bit long-winded, but it's super duper important to understand what annotated keywords are, because they're a huge part of the Pinterest SEO process. You can do without them, but then you're kind of potentially limiting your SEO results in Pinterest. So I prefer to have it rather than not, and PinClicks is the program that helps me do this. So to finish up this video, I just want to say a few quick things. I'm going to leave a few resource links below this video. The first one is going to be to the PinClicks program, which you can get a 5-day trial for. I'll also leave a discount code if you want to get it. I highly recommend it if you're serious about Pinterest success. It comes with tutorials and all that kind of stuff. But the second link I'm going to leave is a review of PinClicks, so you can actually get more context as to why it's so valuable. The third one is a guide to affiliate marketing and making money online that's very beginner friendly. If you're someone like me and you're looking to build an online business and all that, I do this full time. Here are some of my stats in this business. I do this for a living. Even though I do Pinterest, I also do affiliate marketing. I also do SEO, social media marketing, pay-per-click, all that stuff. And I basically have a beginner course that teaches you this stuff. So if you're new to making money online, perhaps you're struggling to succeed, that course can really give you the baseline knowledge and tools to get started with this correctly. And so that's what I'm going to be finishing up the video on. If you have any questions, let me know. But as always, I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.